Hello guys, we are with Steven Emerson today. I'm really happy to do my first English interview for motion designers community. I hope you guys will enjoy this video and all the questions that Steven will answer. So thank you for your time, Steven, and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. First English, that's a lot of pressure.
Yes, as a French, it's a lot of pressure. You probably know. So just before starting, I'm really happy to meet you, and I want to, before we start, just can you introduce yourself shortly for all the guy who didn't know you?
Yeah, my name is Stephen Emerson. I'm a motion graphics and 3D artist from the UK. I've been in motion graphics and I've been a motion graphics generalist for around 12 to 13 years. And most recently, then I've started doing daily 3D render projects to try and get better and improve. So.
Okay, okay. So the first question I have is I see a lot of Realflow and X particles creations. Uh, what's your favorite plugins and how do you think they improve your workflow every day?
Oof, that's tough. You're asking me to pick favorites. Um, no, I find both Realflow and X Particles. I find them both amazing. I'm an old school Realflow guy. I used the Realflow back when it was a full program before the new fancy Cinema 4D plugin. But since that plugin's come out, it's opened up a lot of creative possibilities. And to answer your question, both of them are very, very fast, very robust. I've been quite violent and extreme with some of the settings, and they've stayed light and fast and responsive. So yeah, they've helped my workflow a lot.
Okay, so I will leave for all of you guys links about Steven if you watch this video on YouTube, and if you are on the website, you will have the renders that Steven make and some will. So my next question for you, Steven, is you made a speech for the release of R18 about the plugin Realflow, and how was the global experience, the talk, the people reactions, and personal feelings? You are on the Maxon official channel, and so what can you tell about all that?
Yeah, it's a funny story. My From putting up the 3D renders for maybe 8 months or so, 7 or 8 months, I kind of thought maybe I was wasting my time or whatever, or it wasn't going anywhere, or people weren't noticing. And then Realflow contacted me to speak about their new plugin. Um, Realflow and Maxon were great. They were very, very kind, and they had great hospitality, and they took great care of us. Um, the the talks on the day one, I was a little nervous. I've talked before in a public setting like that, but never on this topic. 3D isn't exactly my expertise. From only being an abstract artist for maybe 6 to 8 months, it was a little nerve wracking. But day two, it was a little bit more confident, So for myself, you asked personally. For myself, it was affirming. Um, you would sort of, if anybody that's watching, if they're an artist, they'll know, oh, I'm not doing well. I suck. Why am I trying? But for me, standing on a stage where my heroes had been, it immediately made me think, oh wow, maybe I am an artist now. Maybe I am a 3D motion designer. It was just crazy. It all happened at once, and I even got to meet a few of my heroes as well. And then, funny, speaking of the plugins, Realflow and X Particles, their stability, and I maybe was one of the only guys that was doing real demos, making things for live on stage. The Maxon and Realflow guys thought I was crazy doing like cloners and Realflow, and the Victor from Realflow was panicking. He told me after the talks that he was very nervous about all the things I was trying live on stage, but it was a great experience.
Oh, nice. I'm really happy for you, and that's totally crazy because that's sometimes that often that's a main a main subject for all of us, like how you like it to do that, how it feels to be with the guys you always worked, and so really happy for you, and hope you will make other great stuff with all these plugins. So the next questions is what what do you think about the future of what you're doing today? And this question is of your future, not about the future of motion design in general. And
Oh, my future. Oh, put me on the spot. um, really, I'm just trying to learn to get better every day. There was never any long-term plan. Even in this Skype call with you, Max, it's surreal to think that it's opening doors and things are happening. It's kind of two worlds. There's there's an opportunity for it to be work, and then there's an opportunity for me to become a better artist. I kind of am more taking it a day at a time.
okay, and I wish you will go as far as possible. And
Thank you.
and do you have quick tips for a guy who watch you and wants to start 3D now? What's your first tip for a guy who start?
Ooh. Um, I think the one big tip, if anybody had have spoke to me a few years ago, the big tip for 3D or motion graphics is repetition and muscle memory. Keep doing the same things, because like a lot of things in life, like learning to drive a car or learning to do anything, you don't get it in one go. You don't understand something in a week. You don't understand something even in a year. It takes doing it over and over again for it to become, you know, for it to become muscle memory, for it to become part of what you're used to doing, or you get comfortable. And one other tip is YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube, including all the great artists on there. For example, your channel MSH, it's great. It's a great resource. There's tons on there. There's guys like Grayscale Gorilla. There's EJ Hassenfratz. There's so many guys. Brograph. There's so much on YouTube that would get you started, and they explain it very well.
Okay. So next question is you told me that you learned things watching some of my French tutorials.
Yeah.
That's quite fun. How do you find out the tutorial?
Yeah, pretty. I found you because I forgot a workflow. It's funny. I'm talking about repeating and muscle memory. I forgot some simple compositing things in Octane render, and your tutorials were one of the first ones that came up about compositing shadows underneath objects, and that was the first one that made me find you. Yeah, the channel seems to be going great. I've come back a few times for some influence on dailies, because sometimes you run out of ideas every day, you know.
That's
Yeah.
really fun for me, because I just started I think 2 years ago this channel just with kind of French content, and I never thought that it's going to evolve and have some guys who watch these tutorials, some guys from other countries than France. And right now I try sometimes to do some English content, so I think it's fun to see how it's evolved, and I'm always curious how you guys watch French videos.
Yeah, I've watched a few of your French videos already, Max. I can't understand them, but I watch, I learn. You know, it works quite well.
Oh, nice. I have a very huge amount. We have a very huge amount of French people watching today. So, what can you tell to to French people watching you right now?
Bonjour. Yeah, I'm noticing the French audience growing a lot. One guy in particular, he's called the French Monkey.
Oh yes.
He does amazing things, and the thing that amazed me the most about him is he doesn't use any special render engines.
Oh yes,
And
that's a friend, and
yeah,
he use always physical render, and I talk with him, and yes, he's amazing because he have a very crappy computer and do amazing stuff. And I wish him to go as big as possible because he's fucking talented and such a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Everybody that asks me, I can't afford Octane. I can't afford. I keep saying, look at the French monkey. The French
Yes,
monkey. He doesn't have anything fancy. He just yeah. So
just
it's cool. He's now making his own plugins and his own packs. It's cool to see. It's working.
oh yes, he's and all the pack he made are really great. And so next thing, who are your rock stars, the artists that helped you to be what you are today? You can talk about musicians to 3D artists. So what's your three main guys who help you to grow?
Um, my background was in music. So that made me be creative. But nowadays, for the past maybe 4 or 5 years, I've been all motion graphics oriented for years and years, trying to learn. It's the one thing I'm nerding out about. Um, Guys like Beeple, another guy like Hodas, or there's another guy called Joey Camacho. Those guys are, and the French Monkey. Those guys are all kind of heroes of mine at the moment. But now that I'm a little older, and I know how to learn, I know how to get influence. My influence seems to be coming from places, perhaps in like business worlds and things like that. There's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. He's quite motivational, but it's more about doing rather than artistic sides of things. For example, Steve Jobs would be another guy that, with some of the stuff that he said over the years, quite influential of going after your goals and becoming, and I take all of that stuff and put it into being an artist, and it seems to work. It keeps me motivated, it keeps me learning, and keeps me hungry.
Okay, what's your dreams in general? Maybe about your work, or what do you want to see changing in what you're doing today?
Oof. Um, my dreams haven't been too big. It's kind of back to taking one day at a time. I'm not usually thinking too far ahead. At the moment, I'm trying to rebrand myself and trying to revamp and revive, my daily thing, and perhaps make it look a little bit more. I think the French Monkey again. He's influenced me greatly. But no, my thing is just to get better every day. I suppose if I had a couple of dreams, if these are up in the sky dreams, I'd love to have 100,000 YouTube subs. That'd be cool. Get the silver plaque,
Mm.
or maybe someday like the Adobe splash screen. It'd be cool to be on an Adobe splash screen. That would be awesome. But
Oh, I wish you.
we can
So,
dream.
so you already answered to this question, but can you maybe tell me three underground 3D artists that you like and that people should check? Three guys or
Oof.
girls.
Yeah, they're not underground, but Beeple and Hodas. Hodas was a hidden one for me. I didn't find Hodas for ages. He seems to be really, really big on Instagram. But for any of you guys watching, if you go to my follower or who I'm following on Instagram, that's almost everybody who I think is up and coming and who's great. And then same for your community, Max. Your community is another great example of tons of guys coming up and doing their thing. I would give a shout out to the Brograph guys. I think communities are very important with this kind of stuff. There's a few out there. You're trying to start your own community. The Brograph guys are doing a podcast, and they seem to be the only guys that sort of tackle Cinema 4D and Octane and all these cool things that we're into. And then look for a Facebook group as well. I think that's a good tip, because there's a lot of Facebook groups have good communities, and a lot of them even take good care of them, and there's no spam and stuff. So all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to give a hello to the friends at Brograph because I know one of the guy and he let me the opportunity to test their plugin Luminous. So
Yeah.
we say hi to Brograph guys.
Those guys are cool.
Okay, so this was a really short interview, and what's your last word for us?
Oof. Um, I I have a simple sort of message. Just keep working and always keep learning. No matter how old you get, no matter how much of an expert you think you are, never stop asking questions and never stop learning. There, in my mind, there are no experts. There are only people that have done the work for long enough. I think everybody is faking it until they make it.
Okay, so thank you, Steven, for your time. Thank you for all the guys who watch the video. All the links about Steven are here. And thanks again for taking time for people to maybe give influences to and tell such good positive words like keep trying.
Thank you, Max.